All right, folks. So we're here in Port St. Lucie, and we're with the man, the legend himself, Turk Wendell.
Mr. 99.
Mr. 99. For those who don't know this caballero here, the man was one of the top pitchers in Major League Baseball when I was not a kid, because I wasn't a kid, but Turk 20 years ago, 13 years ago.
Well, I guess 2000. I was in New York.
All right.
97 to 2000.
Okay, so 25 years ago, the man was the legend. Everybody, he brought excitement to the game. He was the man. He used to jump over that line. He used to come up. Like I said, I was what? I'm 58, so I'm almost 30 years old. My man.
You're old.
He used to light up the stadium just when he came in.
And it was all attitude.
All attitude. He had to,
In New York, you got to have some attitude,
That's right. This is the man. So, as you all, we're filming this podcast, and we're talking about divorced men and how to survive the divorce throughout all these years. Because, like we always say, I was married for 30 years and got divorced, and Frank was married 25, got divorced, and we want to help people out. And we were talking to Turk, and Turk said, listen, hey, I want to help people out too, Turk lives in Iowa, right? Yeah, and he has this big ranch, and I communicate with him every day. We text him. He sends photos of his son, Wyatt, great kid, baseball kid, and he's a good guy, and he's one of us, and I come to camp just to break balls with the man because he's a good guy. And this is what life is all about, being a good guy. You can have all the money you want, all the power you got, and if you're not a good guy, it ain't worth nothing. And Turk is...
And he's part of this fraternity.
Right, he's part of the fraternity.
He's experienced divorce. And has had some challenges with divorce, just like we all have. We were talking, and a lot of the things, the circumstances might be different, but when you're going through divorce, what happens is very similar. So, right. Turk could talk about some stories.
Well, I can...
How did you get through it? That's what we want to teach people.
The one thing that I really learned from being divorced was how to be a friend to your friends that are getting divorced. Because... people can say, "Oh, I'm here for you," whatever. They don't know what it takes or what you go through, especially when you have kids.
Right.
Unless you've actually lived it. And so I learned to be a better friend to the people that I know, friends that are getting divorced. And I always say, "Hey, I'm here for you." And actually, the girl that I'm dating now, that I've dated for 12 years now, I was friends with her for a couple years. She worked at the bank that I would bank at. Mm-hmm. And then 3 or 4 times I went in there and noticed she didn't have a wedding ring on anymore. So I called her and I said, "Hey, you doing all right? I know she doesn't have a ring on anymore. If you're going through some troubles, you need somebody to talk to, let me know." And ended up giving me a call, and the rest, as they say, is history. But as far as going through the divorce, I feel like a total failure. And good, bad, or indifferent, it takes 2 people. I try to do everything I could for my family, for my ex-wife. But I sat my kids down and I said, "Look, this is what's going on." Hardest conversation I've ever had.
Oh, God.
And I said, "I feel like I failed you as a father." Mm-hmm. And I said, "But you have my word. I will never fail you again. I have nothing to do left in life but to take care of you too." And I would continually throughout the years, I had my parental... schedule was week on, week off, which I think that's great. I don't know how people do it 2 days, 3 days, the kid's living out of a suitcase.
Right.
And I said, as you guys see, as you get older, you'll see why we're divorced for yourselves. But, it's just...
I think that's a very good point. Trying to explain it, I think seeing them, you're going to see it for yourself. I think sometimes we do too much talking.
Yeah.
You're trying to defend yourself too much.
Defend yourself and maybe share too much with the kids about what's happening when they shouldn't know stuff. It's hard not to, though.
Right.
Because you're hurting too.
Right.
And,
see what he says, he's hurting too.
I sat the kids down and I said, "Look, I always try to look at the glasses half full, not half empty." I said, right. You still have a mother and a father. There's 2 kids or 1 kid or 5 kids that woke up today and both their parents are dead. Mm-hmm. They died in a car accident or who knows what, and they can never see them again. I said, "You still got 2 parents that love you." At least I thought the mom did. That's a whole other story. Right. But, you just got to be grateful for what you have, not what you don't have. And, I would talk to the kids and I would say, "Look, how am I doing? Constructive criticism. What do I need to do better? What do I need to do worse?" So I said, "I'm here for you. That's all I have left to do."
That's throughout the divorce?
Yeah, throughout raising them.
Okay, that's
And
cool.
I think I've had the same conversation
I
with my
have it,
kids.
and I have to do that.
No, but I've
Like you
had
say.
it, and I tell them, like, listen,
Give me tips.
I need you to tell me. And sometimes, like, I think I have a better relationship with my middle son, David, and I say, hey, David, I need you to, just like I've been a father to you and I've advised you, tell me, how do I get to Franklin? How do I get to Alyssa? And, sometimes he's forthcoming and sometimes he's not. So, and again, my advice throughout this period and what I learned is that you need patience. Like, things are not going
to... Raising kids.
You're raising kids.
There's no manual to raising kids.
Nobody teaches you, and you need patience. And sometimes, like, I feel like my wounds are healed, their wounds might still be open. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. The things that my ex did to my children as they were toddlers growing up, and still continually at 25 and 23, still plays these mental games with them. And the kids see through that now. They're like, I'm not going to put up with this crap anymore. I'm only going to, I want to see mom for 2-3 days and I'm good. Right. It's just, I'd rather text than talk and stuff like that. But, and everything's a little different. Every kid goes through different things. And, kids can go down a dark path when their parents get divorced, because a lot of times they start I saw it with kids growing up that I went to high school with. It seemed like the kids that were always getting in trouble were the kids that their parents were divorced. And I think the parents, they're selfish. They don't, the next thing you know, they're trying to look at, some people don't know how to, they're terrified to be alone. So, they don't say, hey, my kids come first. I dated a girl before and we got along great. And then we went on vacation, they went to Mount Rushmore, took her, the kids, after I'd been dating her, 4 or 5 months. And a week or two after that, went and got ice cream at Dairy Queen, and my son was acting a little weird. I said, what's going on, buddy? He goes, Dad, I don't like her. So she said, hey, what's going on? Why? I said, he don't like you, so this ain't going to work.
That's right. That's right. It's close.
And she was, what do you mean? I go, man, it ain't going to work. If he don't like you, it ain't going to work.
Right.
So they come first.
100%.
See ya.
And so like I said, though, moral of the story is some people, they are terrified to be alone, so they just jump on to the next person, and the next they're going through, you're going through women, you're going through men, or whatever it is, trying to find the next right person. And it's not fair to the kids.
Well, it's funny. The same kind of situation. I was watching a movie the other day. I was home, not much to do, and I was watching Sleepless in Seattle. And Tom Hanks says he lost his wife. I happened to die. And the son is like, I can't stand your girlfriend. I can't, he can't stand it. It's like, son, let me just let you know, this woman and the transition I'm going through, finding is it's like finding a great pair of jeans. Some of them are going too long, some of them are going too short, some of them are going to fit just right. And I'm just looking for the one that fits right. So just bear with me. And eventually he just got rid of her. And because again, the kids come first, and I feel the same way.
Yeah, and I've been open and honest with my kids. And at one point, my son said, Dad, I just don't know who to believe. Mom says one thing, you say one thing.
Right.
I don't know who to believe. So I said to him, what? Have I ever lied to you? He goes, well, not that I know of. I said, well, has your mom ever lied to you? Yeah, all the time. I said, well, there's your answer right there.
That's it.
And I told him, I said, if you ask me a question, be prepared to hear the truth, because I'm not going to lie to you. And that's kind of backfired, because some now, the kids, I ask them questions, especially my daughter. I'm like, so what's going on with you and your boyfriend? Like, I don't want to know the answer. She said that. You don't want to know the answer, don't ask.
True. But to wrap it up, like Turk says, you got to have patience, listen to your kids.
I have a question for Turk. I think because we were talking, and again, when you go through divorce, you go through the situation with the kids. You go monetarily, homes. What for you? What has been the one thing that stood out, or is it in general everything that going through it, or
that's got me through it?
What was the most challenging for you? Like looking at your bank account, it's half gone.
Well, that really, yeah. I mean, that's still tough to deal with, because my ex got a third of my pension. She got the majority of the money that I made, and I worked my whole life for that.
Oh my God!
And as far as the money, that's fine. But I mean, even the pensions, I worked for that, not her. She didn't do anything for it, and she's still just not a nice person. And and I joke around, but serious sometimes. She should thank me for the life that I provided her.
I have no doubt.
For being married, I said I knew going into marriage it wasn't easy.
Right.
But there's too many days I woke up saying it shouldn't be this hard. It should not be this hard every single day. But
good point.
For me, it was It sucked so bad for about the first 6 to 9 months for those weeks that I wasn't with my kids. I'll never forget. It was the worst thing ever. Mm-hmm. The day that my kids had to go with my ex for the first time, my son's crying, screaming, I don't want to go there, I don't want to go there. They said that 6 to 9 months later, a light bulb went on in my head, and I went, wait a second. I got a week to go do whatever I want.
Right.
Right. So it was tough, but then I was, I coached my kid in soccer and baseball, and I went to all my daughter's soccer games. So I got to see him a lot, but it's that open line of communication that helps the kids through it, I think. And like I was saying earlier, I saw kids, they go certain ways, and they start getting into drinking, into drugs. And I remember at a baseball practice, the dad's standing around and they're talking about how they're bitching about the kids playing video games or not getting their homework done and screaming out to get their homework done. And I must have had this weird look on my face because one of the dads goes, you don't even know what we're talking about, do you? And I go, no, I never have to ask my kids if they have homework. I sometimes will, just so we can plan the night about what we're going to do. Like if you have work to do or a test study for, okay, we'll do this or that. But I've been so blessed that my kids are such straight and narrow. My daughter's a cop. She didn't try drinking until she was 21 on her 21st birthday. How many college kids do that? Nobody. My son, who's now with the Diamondbacks in the minor leagues, he's still like me. Never tried a drop of alcohol, a drug, a cigarette. My daughter drinks now, but I'm very, very blessed that they've lived a very good, focused life. And they're really good people, good kids.
Big accomplishment.
Yeah.
You're blessed.
Like I said,
thank God.
There's no manual to raising kids. Right. They're all different.
But what I tell the kids all the time is like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Correct.
I'm not like I think I've been there with them and provided a lot. But again, I'm blessed as you are that I have amazing kids.
That's great.
Amazing kids. And if you had one advice to give people going through it, maybe somebody that just found out, or maybe somebody that thinks, hey, this is not good. Like, what advice would you give?
I would say, I wanted to be their friend, not just their father.
Right.
And when I was the father figure, and had to say something, the kids understood. They knew what the heck was going on. And I told them, just because I was a baseball player and everyone has this persona that I just have unlimited supply of money, I said, my job is to raise you so you don't need me anymore. It sounds weird, but if you don't need me anymore, I've done my job. I will provide you with everything you need. What you want, you will earn. And that taught them a great, work ethic in life, but also, I think it's just a really good open line of communication. Be honest with them. Don't lie to them. Don't do stuff behind their backs. The kids would talk to their mom. My kids would talk to their mom almost every night, and they'd ask their mom, hey, Mom, what you doing? Oh, I'm out to dinner. Where you at? Place you don't know. Who you with? Friends. Who? Friends you don't know. And then she would email me, quit having the kids ask, what I'm doing and where I'm at. Like, don't flatter yourself. I don't care what you're doing. All I care about is my kids. That's
right.
It.
Same here.
And you don't see the look on their face when you tell them you're going to one of their games and you don't show up. I said, if you're not going to be there, just be honest with them. Tell me you're not going to be there. And that look at disappointment. You're already depriving them of a normal childhood.
Correct.
And that in itself is just highway robbery. And that's why I said I felt like such a failure because of that. But I know that my kids, and it got to be as they got older, they would say, hey, can we just not even involve Mom in this? But hey, we had to, because half the time when you have to go to whatever event or sporting event, she's going to have to take you, and if she doesn't agree to it,
right,
then you can't do it.
Yeah, it's hard playing on a team where everybody's not involved. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It takes two.
Right? It definitely takes two. It's like what you say. Like Renee was mentioning that, if you take a step towards me, I'll take two towards you. But when you have one party that is kind of running away from the issue, that doesn't want to take a step, because when everything works better, when everybody gets along, it's just so much easier.
Everybody's rolling in the same direction.
Like you said, it doesn't have to be this. It doesn't have to be this stuff.
Right.
No, I'll never forget this. I was fall baseball, and I'm sitting with two parents on the team. I wasn't coaching that team. I'm pretty sure it was baseball. But anyway, there's a couple sitting there, and the guy or the wife got up and said, hey, I'm going to drink. You want something? You want something? And No, I said, I'm good. I said, that's great. You guys, I said, how long have you guys been married? She goes, oh, no, we're divorced. I go, what? I mean, it was just awesome that they were still that close
Hanging out.
and friends. And I sat there and I went, oh, that's funny because my wife was never even my friend when we were married. She was telling me to be my friend when I'm divorced.
She wasn't my friend when I was married. God knows she ain't gonna be my friend when I'm divorced.
I felt like
I get it.
the total moron athlete that married somebody that was in it for the money. I found a notebook where she had a whole game plan of being married 7 years. But 7 years I was making a really good contract.
Right,
but as soon as I retired and there was no more money coming in, she wanted to get a divorce. And then through the process of the divorce, she said, hey, I got an idea. How about we sign a post-nuptial agreement? What the hell is a post-nuptial agreement? Well, we'll stay married, but we're going to split all the money. And you'll have your money, I'll have my money. I go, no way. If I'm losing half my money, I'm getting a new woman.
That's right.
There ain't no way that's happening.
That's a good one. If I'm losing my money, half of my money, I want a new woman.
Yeah,
well said.
Post-nuptial agreement. Who's a moron enough to sign that deal? And truthfully,
God knows.
Well, we were married 10 years, and she said, hey, let's go to lunch today. So we're at lunch. And I mean, this is verbatim, exactly how it went down, word for word. So we're having lunch, and she says, the reason I want a divorce is I'm miserable, and if things don't get better, I want a divorce. Because we were married just 10 years. And I literally went, ha! I started laughing, and she goes, oh, that's funny. I go, yeah, welcome to my world. I've been trying to make the most out of a miserable situation. Right. We've been married 10 years now, and we've gone to marriage counseling for 9.5 years. I have no idea why. Well, what do you expect to do? I said, I'm going to ride this out till Wyatt turns 18, and then I'm kicking your ass to the curb. I'm not going to live like this the rest of my life.
Right.
And, minus the money and minus having to see my kids half the time, never been happier. She's still a miserable person. Just not.
And you can't make a miserable person happy. You can't.
No. Happiness comes from the inside. Yep. If you're not happy with yourself, you can't make Jerk happy.
And that's the problem. Unfortunately, she has some issues.
Right.
And it's sad. I figured out what was going on afterwards through the divorce, and I feel sorry for her.
How long into the divorce did you realize, wait a minute, this is not what I signed up for?
They'd be like, well, the very day we got married, our night of marriage, our first night of honeymoon, I guess you'd call it, she instantly changed. The day we got married. And I told you guys this earlier. Right. And I said, my buddy said stuff would change, but I know it'd be this fast. Holy crap.
We just got married.
It felt like
3 hours ago.
Yeah, it felt like now I was a possession. And, I was like, she wanted to just put me in the corner. And there was times where I just sat at home for a week straight and didn't do anything. And then she'd, it's time to play with this toy. So, do that kind of thing. I was more of a possession. Or she would say, oh, I'm sick and tired of people kissing your ass because you're a baseball player. And I said, well, the next time you're going to go eat dinner, we'll sit in line like everybody else.
Right.
The next time the Nike catalog comes, don't even open it because it's in my name, not yours.
Right. Yeah. It's ironic what we talked earlier that they want half of everything. They want to enjoy everything, but they don't want us to work. They don't want us to get the glamour of it. Let's put it that way.
She had a babysitter nanny 40 hours a week. Never lived with me during the season, and that was my biggest argument all the time. There's guys, their kids are in school, and as soon as they're out of school, they come and live with me for the summertime. I miss my kids, and that's the reason I retired because it got hard to leave my kids. I could have kept playing baseball.
Yes.
But then I figured I'm going to do the family thing now, and I'm going to retire, and I'm going to raise my kids.
I was surprised when I heard you retired.
Yeah, because you had gas. You still had gas.
You still had gas.
Well, I felt, but like I said,
I was really surprised.
It got tough to leave my kids.
Right.
And
priorities. He had his priorities straight.
Mm-hmm. Well, I felt, the Astros, I went to spring training with them in 2005, and they said, hey, we think, you need to get a little more work in the minor leagues. And I said, I swear I'd never play minor league baseball again. It's not fair to some young kid that's never played in the big leagues. I've had my glory days. It's time to move on.
Right.
Raising my kids.
That's big of you.
That's big of you.
Not everybody looks like
No, well, I said I was that kid in AAA once, and this guy's taking
right. This guy, it's time to move up.
Yeah.
Move up and the evolution.
And today in 2023, you have a son in minor leagues.
Yeah, he's with the Arizona Diamondbacks in the California League. And, it's great seeing the progress he's made. And I know he has what it takes. It's going to take him a little while to get there. And, it's just exciting. Like I said, my daughter's a cop. She was an All-American soccer player in a D2 school in Minnesota, on her way to be a 2-time All-American, not just in soccer, but athletic All-American too.
So that's amazing.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because my son was at a junior college. He got a 4.0. she got a 3.97 at a 4-year school.
Yeah.
And I texted her a picture of the dean's list that Wyatt got. I go, apparently you're the dumb one in the family. You're like at a 3.97.
I'd say he's 4.0.
She goes, yeah, but that's just he had so many. I don't know. It wasn't basket weaving classes. He had a lot of pottery classes in junior college.
Does he have your slider?
He's got a really good slider. They're really working with him on a sinker now. He's got a good sinker. But his thing, he's a pitcher. I was more of a kind of a thrower, and still I didn't realize the competitiveness got in the way a lot of times of playing the game smarter, not harder. Mm-hmm. I remember Al Leiter coming to me today. Why didn't you pitch around that guy to walk him? Why did you walk him? I go, dude, I don't walk anybody unless they tell me to walk him. I'm trying to get his ass out. Mm-hmm. And then I went, wait a second, that's kind of dumb.
Right.
Play smarter, not harder.
Right. Yeah. Work smarter, not harder.
Well, you got a guy second and third, and you got a base open.
Right.
So you walk him and you put a force on him.
Absolutely.
That kind of stuff. But no, I'm going and going and going.
I said, Turk Wendell. What do we do without Turk Wendell? He made a difference in our lives, and he's still making a difference today. Well, Turk, we want to say thanks for your time.
You bet, man.
I really
Anytime.
appreciate it.
Anytime.
I enjoy it. I come to camp just to hang out with the man here. He makes everything.
Must be because you're a hell of a ball player.
See? That's why we love the guy.
And honestly, you make this camp,
right.
You're hilarious. Everybody loves you, and I can't wait to do it again. Thank you.
You guys want me to come down to Dominican? They're talking about having a camp in Dominican.
I would love to do that.
Yeah.
Seriously, Doug said that. Mini camp in January.
I'll go.
I'll sign up right now in Dominican Republic.
I'll go wherever you guys go. I'll go.
Let's talk to Doug right now. I'm
Folks, Turk Wendell.
Thank you. I hope you guys found some value to this. The great Turk Wendell. And, it's sometimes you feel like you're the only one going through it. There's a lot of us. And there's a lot of us in the fine
unfortunately, the divorce rate in society is way too high. They should make it harder to get married.
Well, right now we looked at, the divorce rate was at every 1,216 marriages break up.
Well, in baseball, it's high.
Oh, well.
Then after baseball's over, you retire, it's even higher. Because now you're home and the wife's going, yeah, like I was saying, she had a sitter that, while I was playing ball, she wasn't even really watching the kids. Full-time sitter while she was golfing and shopping all day. And then I'd come home in the off season and she said, here, the kids are yours. I've been watching for 8 months. No, you haven't. Besides, it wasn't like I was on vacation and I wanted to be with my kids. You were working.
I think it's similar to what happened to me because I got divorced with a pandemic. I got home. I'm like, who's you? Who are you? And they're just like, who are you? Yeah. We were stuck in the house for a month and you don't realize how far apart you are because we're so busy. I was busy. I used to be out the house most of the time. And to come back and not recognize the person and the treatment and the way we communicated was super difficult. So,
well, you got to be compatible and you got to be, I wouldn't say best friends, but you got to be really good friends. Yes. And to me, it sounds kind of weird. And my ex would say, "Oh, you're not happy unless we're having sex twice a day." Well, if you know that makes me happy, where are we hung out? Right? What's the problem? If I know every morning when you wake up, you want me to give you a hug and a cup of coffee, and I say, "I'm not doing it."
Right.
Sure.
There you go.
That means I don't want to make you happy.
That's right.
Hey, sex once twice a week, I'll paint the house. So you know what color you want.
What color you want? Orange and blue.
That was one of my biggest problems too. It's like, hey,
but then you get that connection with sex that makes the bond stronger, and it makes you think, oh, she wants to be with me, she enjoys me.
You hear that, ladies? Sex makes it all better.
It really does.
And listen, it takes work. It takes work. And again, it's what he said. If I know that you want a hug and a cup of coffee, and I'm in love with you, I'm gonna give you a hug and a cup of coffee. Exactly. It doesn't have to be that difficult.
Nope. Totally agree. Well, thanks again, Turk. I appreciate it, my friend.
Anytime.
Enjoy. Folks, Turk Wendell.
Peace out.